Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show as we get down to the final two teams for the best NRL club of all time. Which NRL club has the strongest squad to pick from? Let's check it out. First off, we have the great St. George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Melbourne Storm. Who will it be? Who will make the cut? Who will be the best team of all time? This is going to be big debates all around the kitchen sink. But here we go. As again, 1 point separates the two. I'll tell you that right now. 1 point separates the two to who is the best team of all time. And again, this was a grudge match back in the day. We'll see if the final outcome is the same as what happened in the final, which was a nail biter. With the clothes hanger, if you remember, of Jamie Easko. Clothes hanger on the Storm going for the victory with the penalty try. So, yes, fullback, Graham Langlands versus Billy Slater. So you pretty much got the best versus the best right here of fullbacks of all time. And the debate will be there. For all the older players, we're going Graham Langlands. For all the younger ones that have seen the game and will agree with me, Billy Slater is the best of all time. Absolutely, Billy Slater is the best of all time. Now, Nathan Blacklock versus Marcus Bai. Well, pretty simply, Nathan Blacklock was just too good for Marcus Bai. And this was the real interesting one. These can debate this to the cows come home with this one. Reg Gasnier versus Greg Inglis. The immortal versus a potential immortal. Greg Inglis and Reg Gasnier, both star players. And I have given this to Greg Inglis. I think Greg Inglis played so many different positions as well. Overall game, outstanding, and he excelled in every position he played. With a centre, wing, fullback, or 5'8", Greg Inglis was a star, out-and-out star. And he takes it for Reg Gasnier, but it's a battle of the worlds. And Mark Gasnier pretty much easily beats Matt King, so that was pretty simple. Mark Coyne and Israel Folau was an interesting one. I've gone for Israel Folau. That's another debated one because he didn't play long, but when he played, he was absolutely outstanding for the Melbourne Storm. This will be a controversial one as well here. Anthony Mundine versus Cameron Munster. And I really do believe Anthony Mundine is one of the most underrated players ever to play the game. Absolutely outstanding. If he was at a stronger club, it wasn't a bad club, but if he was at a stronger club, would have won some premierships. But yeah, Anthony Mundine, definitely star player in front of Cameron Munster for mine. On the other side, Cooper Cronk would beat Billy Smith all day, every day. The forward pack here, this is real tough here. Norm Provan versus Glenn Lazarus. Wow. Well, it's tough to say no to Glenn Lazarus, but Norm Provan's premierships just won the day there. King Carney, he would be very underrated, King Carney, but Cameron Smith clearly wins the debate here. He is the GOAT, no doubt about it. He is the GOAT of hookers, no doubt about it. He is absolutely too good, and he will be, I can tell you that now, big shock. He'll be the number 9 in next week's video for the best players of all time. Big shock. Jesse Bromwich beat Craig Young. Lance Thompson versus Felice Kafusi, pretty even sort of thing, but Felice Kafusi did more at Queensland level, so I'm going for Felice Kafusi. But Brad Mackay, Ryan Hoffman, again, very similar. You could go either way here, but I've gone for Brad Mackay. And Johnny Raper beats Nikau. Pretty simple. For all the old school fans out there, Johnny Raper, one of the best to ever play the game. Now we get to the bench. Folks, and it's just to recap what is happening out there. It's 7 points to the Melbourne Storm, with Billy Slater, Greg Inglis, Israel Folau, Cooper Cronk, Cameron Smith, Jesse Bromwich, and Felice Kafusi getting the better of the St. George Illawarra Dragons players, which have Nathan Blacklock, Mark Gasnier, Anthony Mundine, Norm Provan, Brad Mackay, and John Raper. So we'll they held on the bench is going to be the big question there. As we go to the bench here, we got Ben Hornby versus Josh Adokar. So Ben Hornby wins that one. So Ben Hornby gets them over the line. So 7 points there. And then we looked at between Jamie Soward and Scott Hill. I've given the points to Jamie Soward, which now puts the Dragons ahead. 8 points to 7. Now Sean Timmins and Robbie Coons. This was a tough one as well, but I've gone for Robbie Coons, which makes it 8-all as we get to the nitty gritty. And again, it's going to come down to Ben Creagh versus Dallas Johnson. And oh my goodness, to nail it down to these two, they have to pick who was the greatest team of all time. Well, I tell you now, the greatest team of all time is, drum roll please, the Melbourne Storm. The Melbourne Storm get the cookies thanks to Dallas Johnson beating over Ben Creagh. Can you believe it? They were rated the best team of all time. The mighty Melbourne Storm overall have the strongest team of all time, in my opinion. And really, why they have the strongest team of all time is because they got the 4 GOATs. Billy Slater, Greg Inglis, Cooper Cronk, Cameron Smith. To me, should all 4 be immortals. But to back them up, they've got Jesse Bromwich, Cameron Munster, Felice Kafusi, Ryan Hoffman, Israel Folau. They really are a well-balanced football side. There is a bit of arguments that maybe they shouldn't have won. That's going to be a debate for any time of the week, because the Dragons is a very, very star-studded team too. They're not the only ones. Manly, who didn't make the top 4, but they were a very good team as well. Canberra Raiders, obviously, and the Brisbane Broncos are good teams as well. They're probably the top 5. You could debate who's the best out of those 5, to be fair, because they're all very good teams. But Melbourne Storm, to me, have won over for me. And, well, when we find out next week who's my best 17